Everybody, welcome to week 21 of Countdown to Blastoff. We're out at in Denver, North Carolina with Rob Digh, AnglerChannel.com pro staffer, and we got a big BFL coming to Norman this week. We got a FLW series going on at Chickamauga. We've got the BFL Super Tournament on Wylie we're going to talk about from last week. But before we get going, we always want to thank Ranger, our great sponsor for 6 years now, and Evan Rude, their great line of E-Tech engines, and 3 years no maintenance, and an extended warranty option that's out there right now, plus Progressive Insurance. We keep telling you, go get your free quote at www.progressive.com. Roddy, slide in a little bit this way for us, and let's talk about the BFL on Norman this weekend. You know, temperatures haven't really dropped a whole lot, but the humidity's dropped a ton. Are the fish starting to bite a little bit over there?
Yeah, been getting some reports, John. Last week, you know, the guys were going out catching 40 and 50 fish. We had a couple cloudy days, and I think that turned the fish on. But this week's been high pressure's built in. It's a bright bluebird sky for the last 4 or 5 days, and it looks like another 4 or 5 days of bright bluebird sky. But there's going to be a lot of fish caught in the hot holes, John, and maybe a few jig fish with this sun being out. It's probably going to take somewhere in the neighborhood around 25 pounds for 2 days to win it. But it's going to be a tough tournament.
And that's all day Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, they'll take top 20% of the field and fish Sunday. So I think they're going to have around 100 boats. That's kind of the word. So look forward to it. And I think there'll be a lot of fish caught, but, you know, the size are going to be down on.
Yeah, well, it's always a challenge at Norman to find that quality. Let's go back to the BFL Super Tournament that was on Wylie last weekend. Parks Jones won that, and he had, what, about 28 pounds?
Yeah, actually the weights down there this time, the lake fish really tough, but it took more to make the top 20% of the field than it has in the last 3 or 4 years. There's some quality fish biting down there. The water was low, but there was a little bit of color in the backs of the creeks. And, hey, Parks Jones, you got to hand it to him. That makes his second Super Tournament down at Wylie.
Well, you know, he fishes a lot of tournaments, and then he puts in the time. What do you think he caught most of his fish on down there?
You know, I think he probably fished in the fork a little bit. A lot of guys did. He probably maybe caught a few schooling fish would be my guess.
Well, and I would guess that you're pretty close to being correct there. Let's transition over to Chickamauga, which is where we have a lot of regional guys fishing the FLW Series this week, and Andy Montgomery's leading after day one.
Yeah, you know, that boy's been hot as a pistol this year, and he's been a fish-catching machine. But hopefully he can he's done got one bass win with the Open down at Smith Lake, so maybe he can get him an FLW win up there at Chickamauga this week, John. I think he's catching the fish shallow on a chatterbait, so that's his forte, so he's going to be tough.
You know, one thing, we were talking with the folks at Z-Man at the FLW Cup. They had a nice booth there, and we were talking about how many anglers this year have won tournaments throwing that chatterbait, but nobody likes to talk about it. Is that because, you know, it got so hot so fast, people let it die off, but it still seems like a go-to bait for a lot of guys in their tackle box?
It is, John. Guys want to keep it, you know, if they got a little edge, they want to try to keep it a secret, and you can't blame them, especially when they're fishing for a living, but it is one of the most versatile baits on the market. You know, you got to have them in your tackle box.
Yeah, it's the got-to-have bait.
Oh, definitely, and it's so versatile. I mean, you can fish it around grass, docks, you can fish it on ledges, and there's a lot more fish caught than what people realize.
Well, one thing you need to make sure of when you buy your chatterbait, on the blade, it will tell you the original chatterbait. There have been some duplications that have been put out into the marketplace, which are slowly going away, but to make sure you have the real deal, check for that original chatterbait on the blade. And Robbie, what's up next for you after Norman?
I'm going to go to Louisiana and fish the Bass Federation National Championship down in Louisiana at the Red River, John, and that's probably going to pretty much end my year up. Might fish the Ryan Human. I've struggled this year, but, hey, that's fishing, and maybe I can end it here with maybe a good finish or two.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got a lot of tournaments coming up in the next couple of weeks, starting out this weekend with the BFL Super Tournament on Norman. Again, we're going to follow the FLW Series over on Chickamauga, which, by the way, everybody I've ever talked to, we have not been to Chickamauga, but everybody you talk to says that is a phenomenal fishery.
Yeah, they killed the grass over there several years ago, John. They let the grass come back, and that lake is coming back. But I know in the 80s, it was an extremely good lake. You heard a lot of talk about it, and somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s, they killed the grass, and now the grass is coming back. And the grass makes a strong bass fishery, and it helps the economy. So I'm hoping more people take a hold of it, and maybe we'll get a little grass back around here one day.
Well, there's one other lake I know that has a lot of grass that's done okay, Gunnersville.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's even hard to buy a house down there. It's one of the hot places in the country because fishermen will come in and we love to catch big fish, and the grass it grows big fish.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Robbie, good seeing you. Best of luck this weekend on Norman. We're going to be around. We're going to go out there and follow it a little bit. And folks, enjoy the fall. The temperatures are starting to come down, and humidity's definitely a lot better than it was just 3 or 4 weeks ago. Good luck to you. Always good seeing you, and we'll see you next week on Countdown to Blast Off. Have a great weekend.